This is where the fun begins.
It is settled then. My wealth will fund the rebellion while Garm provides our fleet and Mon Mothma our soldiers.
Are you sure? So be it. Did you miss me?
You have the job of putting together the biggest Star Wars puzzle known to mankind.
Essentially, yes. So for those who might not know, the Holocron is the name of an internal database that we have that keeps track of all characters, all vehicles, all planets that we create in Star Wars lore, so that moving forward we can use that content elsewhere. So if we have a planet that appears in a movie, well, we'll know all about that planet and then can use that in a book. Well, conversely, we can have something that starts in a video game and then apply that to a TV show.
It's awesome when everything mingles together like that. Is that something that is extremely difficult to do, or is it the fact that...
It's definitely ambitious, and it's definitely something that no other brands do. I mean, when you have other brands, the comics have their own universe, and then the movies will be a separate thing. Or the books will have their universe, and a TV series will be a different thing. Star Wars is unique when all those things are part of the same universe, and we're trying to tell one large story.
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic. Before the Dark Times. Before the Empire.
Jedi is something that came a little later. When we started building Jedis, we had a lot of Jedis, and we needed more and more Jedis. As we were doing them toward the end, we ended up with a lot of Jedis that looked like people that worked at ILM, with these short little haircuts and looked like they stepped out from behind a computer. And so I was saying we have to get more exotic Jedis, and so we only have so much resources to do these things with, but I do have Twi'leks because we use them quite a bit in other areas in the Senate and as background action. So I have a sort of a wardrobe and a setup of certain kinds of characters. So it was a way of reinventing some of those characters. And I had realized that we had a comic book that has a Twi'lek in it that is a Jedi. There's a whole series actually of her. And I said, well, why don't we put her in this? I mean, she's a comic character, but we'll just fit her in and have her be a background character because that's exotic. That's how the Twi'lek Jedi ended up in the backgrounds of these shots, was to try to use some of the work and effort that the guys in the comic book world had put into things and characters they had created.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cantina Nights. Yes, we moved from the cafe. Now we're meeting up in the cantina on a Thursday evening. Hope you guys are doing well. I have Rumble up. I have to pull the Rumble screen in front of me. I don't have it fully up yet. And I also, we have the Twitter so that we can get some reach out through Twitter as well as the YouTube platform here. Those who are tuning into on Rumble, what's up? How are you doing? And it looks like we have Bane, our purist there, Gabriel Knight, CJ, SWA. We have them there. Hello, I see you guys. You guys are amazing. Those who want to support the channel, OG Star Wars, feel free to go over to Rumble, follow, and subscribe. Become a member there. The lingo is slightly different, but it all means the same. And so there are some things I don't have set up yet between YouTube and Rumble, like when there's a raid. I don't have a video for that just yet. I will get that done. I'm trying to think of a maybe an Old Republic style video kind of deal for that, for the raid or something like that. And then, of course, we do have our YouTube goers here. So I'm going to look in the chat and see who's here. I'm going to say hello. Everything we do for CAF Chat. However, I want to go ahead and just let you guys know that this is going to be similar to CAF Chat because I want to still give Lucas facts. I didn't make book of the week, but I will share with you what it is, and I'll have the visual for you guys put up on YouTube and Discord and also Twitter. So, and then of course we're gonna maybe talk some lore. It's not focused. I didn't really prepare anything for New Jedi Order. I'm coming straight from subbing a yoga class. Got home, fed myself, checked in with the family, and here I am with you guys here. So I'm always on the move, always busy, but I am here. You guys are here. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, so let me see here. Let's see here. So we have the raid. Whoops. Woohoo. Thank you so much for the raid. Yo, what's up? Everybody coming in, and thank you for the gifted 5 subscriptions from SWA. Whoop, whoop. All right. So if you guys get over there on Rumble, it's happening. It's moving. It's moving and grooving over there. Like I said, I don't have a raid. Let me see. I don't have a raid video, but let me go ahead. You know, the one and only Matt Wilkins for the raid video.
Someone asked me to give the best reason why someone should read the Expanded Universe. After giving it a lot of thought, here's what I have to say. The Expanded Universe respects the reader. In the Expanded Universe, Luke Skywalker's optimism continues where it left off in Return of the Jedi. He's fulfilled hope to the galaxy, just like Obi-Wan said he would, not like the Disney movies where he gave up on the Jedi or even the whole galaxy for that matter. The character you see in those movies is not Luke. Luke isn't a quitter. He's not a pessimist. He's a leader. He's inspirational. And he's always there for his friends in times of need. Another character is Han Solo. He's introduced to us in A New Hope as a loner, a man who cares only for himself and nobody else. But by the end of Return of the Jedi, that all turns around when he finally finds friends he can trust and a true love to spend the rest of his life with. And that's exactly what he does in the Expanded Universe. Han is a devoted husband and father to Leia and their kids. He loves his family above all else. In the new movies, Han turns out to be a selfish deadbeat dad who ran out on his family when things get tough. It's a complete 180 from the character that we saw from Return of the Jedi. Now, another thing the EU does is it rewards its readers. Attention to detail when it comes to continuity has never been done at such a level as when it was performed by the Expanded Universe. Avid readers will constantly be rewarded for their diligence as comics, novels, video games, and even children's books share connections throughout the entire series, making it almost a flawless, continuous story. And though it has its minor flaws, it's still the best overall story and continuity out there, period. That's what the EU does. It respects and rewards its readers. And that's the best reason you should give it a try. Long live the Expanded Universe.
All right, so thank you so much for the Rumble raid, and we will extend the favor off to Tim when he goes live on his show. We are stacked with Gatekeepers Alliance back-to-back live streams here today. So thank you guys for all tuning in and support each and every one of us. So here we go.
Because there's a fucking gatekeeper. There's a fucking gatekeeper.
Woo! Let's get hyped about that. Hello, hello. So tonight, I'm going to say this morning, tonight, of course, we have the Lucas Facts. I will discuss a little bit about Lucas books, and I will have that edited for you guys and posted. And then from there, maybe some lore talk, questions and questions to me about lore. I already have a couple of in here, like what's my favorite New Jedi Order book versus not. So I'll get to that. I see you. And then we are going to get into cringe factor. There's two things of cringe factor I want to discuss. One is about, there are a couple of people I witnessed on Twitter, these shills, these idiots, whatever you want to call them, that basically are saying that Star Wars, like pre-Disney and even Disney, but we're going to talk pre-Disney because that's what we talk about, is misogynistic. So we're going to discuss that as well. As a female fan, growing up and witnessing the franchise grow, being interested in it, you know, and experiencing it, I never thought that it was targeted towards women in a negative way, even when you see women just as well as men and different species struggle in the galaxy against war, in war, not against it, in war, against evil beings, I guess you can say, the antagonist, and, you know, and also the good side. So bad side, good side, light side, dark side, right? So I've seen all that, but never once when I thought that it was misogynistic, that it, to me as a woman, that I was being targeted through Star Wars. So we'll get into that. And then also too, we have something about Marsha by by Bleeding Fool that I want to go over with on that. Let me see. I got to keep an eye out on the Rumble side here because we are more active, more hyped up, more. It's just pretty active now that we're in the evening for tonight. Cap chat is usually a little bit slow for Rumble, and that's okay. So I just got to establish making sure that I have everybody and I could see everything that's going on. So let's see who's in the chat. Like and post. So of course, Purist is handling the mod side over there. Hello, hello. Thank you so much. And then Rodimus is here. How are you doing? Great to have you here. Great to have you hang out during Cantina Nights. And then people who are tuning on Twitter and lurkers, you know, hello. I'm happy you are here supporting the channel, no matter if it's hate watching or just lurking out of curiosity. But for the hate watchers,
bitch, sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Bitch, sit down. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with them. The industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama.
All right. So thank you guys for tuning in and supporting the channel no matter what. It's greatly appreciated. You guys are friggin' amazing, no matter who you are and how you feel about me. And then we have Iron Inquisitor. Good evening, peeps. Watching until Grandma finishes making some yummy tortillas. Ooh, homemade tortillas. That is the bomb. That is it right there. That, and then nothing like store-bought, nothing on homemade torts. Holy crap. You are one lucky grandchild to have your grandma with you and eating that yummy homemade food, tortillas. All right, so here's a question here. OG, and anybody in the chat, you can answer this for yourself as well. OG, what's your favorite and least favorite book from the New Jedi Order and why? So my favorite, which kind of almost ties with another, my favorite is Star by Star. But then again, there's times that Vector Prime can take the front seat. So there's that back and forth right there with that. My least favorite, I would say the Force Heretic trilogy. In general, just the whole structure of it is, it's not bad, but it's not my favorite at all whatsoever. So once we get there in the events, we will talk more about that. But there's a lot going on in Force Heretic that I like, but it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. And so anybody else in the chat, feel free to answer that and share, especially if you are very familiar with New Jedi Order. And that's wonderful. Like, we're not, as fans, we're not always going to like everything the same. We're going to have favorites and least favorites and some things that just don't hit whatsoever with us, right? And that's just being human. That's just being an individual. And, we can debate about it, we can talk about it, we can joke about it with each other, and be sarcastic with each other, have fun. In the end, it's just all about the love of Lucasfilm, or George Lucas era Star Wars. Not just Lucasfilm, but George Lucas era of Star Wars. And let's see here. Again, I will have the new emojis up on Rumble. I just have to get my shit together to get that done. And it's 2 a.m. here, so we have Scran here from Scotland. I'll be lurking to show support for the Best EU channel. Thank you so much. I really need to sit down and finish some projects I have that I need to post, upload videos that I have in the oven, ready to go in the editing process. I just need to finish them, and get that going. I'm slacking on that, but we're here, and I'm here talking with you guys. So, all right, don't forget to hit the like. We want more people to learn about Lucas era, correct? And share everything out. Let me see. I'm going to go check and peek in on Rumble. How you guys doing over there? All right. I love my Rumble gang as well. And let's see here. Rodimus here. Okay. OG, I don't like the Sith returning in the EU after Return of the Jedi. And again, I love the EU, but it's not perfect. We have our likes and dislikes too, right? Also, what's your favorite era in Star Wars? Mine is the prequel era, mainly Clone Wars multimedia stuff or project stuff. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Mine bounces between New Jedi Order and Legacy era. So that it goes between that. But I think a lot of times it's Legacy over New Jedi Order. But it's interesting to see and to discuss with others their favorite era of Star Wars. Like Soul Assassin, he is basically an old Republic. We have the PT era, like you, Rodimus. We have people who like the classical, so basically it's the OT or the Dark Times stuff. So that's a give and take, and that's what makes us so unique, is that we can come in and discuss this, share what we love about that, and we can agree too. Oh, I see your point on that. And, that's what I like too. However, I like this era more because of blah, blah, blah. So Mike is here. What's up? What's going on, my fellow brain pop, lollipop? I'll say brain pop, brain lollipop, lollipop, lollipop. Oh, lollipop, lollipop. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, goodness. I just came from teaching yoga, so I'm pretty laid back right now. I'm pretty, I wouldn't say chill. I'm pretty engaged, pretty hyped, feeling good. And that's just after yoga. I'm not sitting here drinking any type of intoxicants, geez. Like any, I'm going to go there. I'm going to sound stereotypical. I'm not having none of that spirit water, or fire water, spirit water. Jeez, I can't even get that shit right? Fire water. None of that here whatsoever. Not right now. Not. I am having, while we're at Cantina Nights, I hope you're enjoying your favorite drink, whether it's alcohol or not. I'm actually drinking some tea right now. Yes. I just feel like I just need something a little bit warm, but not caffeinated in a sense right now. And let's see here. Hey, everybody. Hey, Brandon, how are you doing? And then we have Gordon. How are you doing? Greetings and salutations. Cheers to you. How are you doing? Wolfscar is here. Hey, yo. What's up? What's up? What's up? And then let's see here. We are having more people joining, so we're collecting over time of viewers and stuff. So if you are lurking in the background and not participating in any of the chats, hello to you guys. Hello. Thank you for sitting in and listening in, whatever you are doing. Let's see here. What's everyone drinking in the cantina? So I just got done saying, I'm your DD. I'm having some tea. So I'm the one that's going to go ahead and just steer this boat while you guys have fun as we chat in the cantina, right? So let's see here. So cheers to you guys, and hello to you, Crouching Tyler, Hidden Swift, Matt G, what's up? What's up? And then CJ, hello, how are you doing? Cheers, cheers, cheers. Let me see here. But George didn't care. My Disney Star Wars. Oh my goodness. And we have the Bato here. What's up? How are you doing? Hi, y'all. Sorry for being late. It was modding 3 streams. I know when you are the master modder, it's like shit, your expertise is thought out. Cheers to you. And you know what? I don't care about the copyright strike I'm going to get for this on the YouTube side, or like the whatever that they do. Now, where the F is it? Oh, here it is.
Hey, this is going out to all the homies.
Yeah. This is for the raza. Yeah. You trying to get crazy with this thing? Don't you know I'm loco?
All right. So yes, we have the mod in the house. The master. He's like the grandmaster of mods, right? If we wanna get nerdy about like giving like a title, or is he more Sith? Is it Sithari of modding or the grandmaster? Whoa, that's something to think about, you guys. What do you guys see Soul Assassin as? Is he more Sith or more Jedi? Now that's the discussion to have, right? Hello there, everyone. Good evening. Force crush this like button. Ha ha ha. All right, let's see who else is coming in and how is everybody doing on the Rumble side. We have Scran over there. Scran is not a Rumbleist. Mystic Troll, I see you. What's up, Mystic Troll? How are you doing? I didn't say hi to you yet. I see you in SWA. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Let's see here. I don't think I'm missing anybody, but I'm scrolling down. Let's see here. So we have a 23-month member from Brandon the Awesome. And this is what he has to say. What do you guys think? Some of you guys may or may not know the lore. And all I'm going to say is just let him scream in his echo chamber. That's all I have to say about that. And let's see here. There's stuff that I'm taking care of on my end regarding that. And that's all I'm going to say. King Chris, what's up? Yo, what's up? Let's see here. And of course, SWA, he did, looks like this is from when he gifted some subscriptions. And of course, we have Purist who was gifted. Thank you so much. And King Chris. And I don't know who else. Let's go. And I can see it on this side, which is cool. Great Gabriel Knight. Thank you so much. SWA. Love it. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting and being an active part, contributing to sharing of the George Lucas era of Star Wars and the nonsense behind the Disney shilling bullcrap. Let me see here. And I think I got everyone here. I see you guys are chatting it away. Chatting it up. Mystic Troll was gifted. Thank you so much. And I think that's all. I think that's it. Cool. We got it. I'm crossing the platform between Oh my God, you had to reference that Disney Worlds Between Worlds with that. You know, he's always been to me. I always tease that he's a closeted Disney Star Wars fan. I know he's trolling. I know it's a fucking troll. I know he's having fun because that's what he does as a mod as well. And I think it's brilliant. It just makes you laugh. So Star Wars Grant says Heroes Trial is my favorite so far, apart from Vector Prime. Yeah, and you're slowly reading through it, and I understand why. So once you're completed, then you'll have a full report from you. I expect a full report front and center after you're done. All right, let's see. Agreed, The Force Heretic. The final prophecy did a good job putting the series back on track, in my honest opinion. Correct. And let me see here. Scram doesn't sleep. He's busy with the lore. He is building his lore. He's building his holocron. Building holocrons, recording, all that stuff that they do. And I'm using the generic word recording for that. It takes time. 10 out of 10. Republic era for you. Let's see here. Tehillium is here. What's up? How are you doing? And I think Lucas Gerson, what's up? Lollipop, lollipop, oh, lollipop, lollipop. Doom, doom, doom. I can't help it. It's so much fun. It's like, that's a Gen X thing, right? We just take something that's so fucking stupid and just have fun with it and make fun and laugh and joke, right? I mean, it's like a big trait of ours. That's something that's more predominant. But then also, too, it's also the influence and a personality, too. So, yeah. Let's see here. Iron Inquisitor says Darth. Oh, it's turning into a meme. Yeah, I bet. Let's see here. And I think I got everybody. So before we get into our topics here, the main topic, Cypress Hill. Whoop, whoop, yes. Let's go ahead and get into Lucas facts. Here. And let's see here. I'm just looking to see if there's anything I need to address here. Like, I know that you guys are saying OG kind of deal. Let's see here. Tehillium OG sings way better than Grace Randolph. Well, I hope so. I used to, I have, if you guys don't know the lore about me, about my creativity, I grew up singing in my family, like my family, what we call in where I come from, my tribe, we chaglata, sing behind the drum, and it's women singing behind the men as they drum. And then so I come from, some women that were really sought out during their time in their generation, my grandma and her sisters and stuff, my unchi, that had really, really beautiful voices. And then my aunts. And then, of course, I was one of them that I got into choir from elementary all the way up into high school. So there's many things what did I did not do when it came to junior high, elementary, and high school, right? When it came to creativity. But as I got older, like talking about here and now, I haven't been practicing my voice. So it's not as good because it takes practice. You have to take care of the voice. You have to keep singing, practicing, and stuff like that. So I would say I don't sound as nice as I used to, but I sound pretty decent, I guess you can say. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our Lucas facts. So let's see here. I got to scroll. I got so many stuff up here on my in my video clips. I need to recycle. All right, here we go.
That's great.
It's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
All right, so here we go. Our Lucas facts. So there's two clips here. One is from Star Wars Insider 85, page 49. Thank you, Scram. It coincides with what I shared here from Star Wars Gamer 6. And it was verified or clarified by Lucasfilm what is and is not canon. So this is what it is, because we had during the time, those times where having people confused on what is canon and wasn't when it came to like Infinity's coming out with these off the wall stories and stuff like that, that were rehashing a timeline like OT or something like that versus what is actually canon and published during that time in the same time frame. And so this was clarified by Lucasfilm officials on canon, what is and is not. And so basically things that Lucas licensing does not consider official part of the continuous Star Wars history show and Infinity's logo and are contained in Star Wars Tales. So there you go. So that's a clarification. If you did not know before the buyout, what was in canon or not canon versus what was canon. I don't know what to tell you. And there's so many times that I had these anti-EU people, Disney shills, that would bash the EU, saying, oh, well, they did it this way, they did it too, or whatever. Or they would make fun of something that was silly or whatever. And when you go look it up, it's an Infinity story. And you're like, first of all, this was not canon. It's just a what if fun story, off the wall, off the shoot story that was funny or entertaining, but not canon. So it's quite funny. It's like back in the day they distinguished it, but then you have people come in now that think they're Star Wars fan and don't have an inkling, a clue about the formation of continuity in the single canon whatsoever. And then they keep rehashing stuff that was clarified or even debunked by the actions of George and Lucasfilm themselves on keeping one single continuity in the canon. So there we go. So Lucas facts here. So let me read here. Let me see if I can get closer, because let me go ahead and make the screen a little bigger for myself. There we go. So issue 83, most memorable moments of the expanded universe. It said Maul was miraculously resurrected and killed by Darth Vader. Was this after Owen Lars killed him by shooting Maul in the face, which is seen in Star Wars Visionaries, or is he resurrected after Obi-Wan sliced him in half? So this is what they say. This is tricky because you're asking about the chronologically. Okay, Laura, I can read, I promise. Of events of two stories that have no place in the Star Wars timeline. Both tales that you describe are infinities, meaning that they exist outside the Star Wars continuity. Think of them as an alternate reality stories. They are not only alternate to the central Star Wars continuity, but also to each other. So one cannot take place before the other because they don't actually happen in the same reality, quote unquote reality. And this one right here, this is by Sue Stoney on the Infinities, and she just clarifies what is Infinities and what is not to the canon. So there you go. There you go. So just thought I'd bring this out as a Lucas fact. This is an interesting Lucas fact. You know, and no, I'm not saying that George Lucas said these at all. Lucas Facts is about not only Lucas himself, but the company, the greater company for Star Wars. You know, because Lucasfilm doesn't just house one franchise; they have Indiana Jones as well, right? So this is all about Lucasfilm for Star Wars. So let's see here. So we have Bunt in the house. Is that what I see? Bunt Books is in the house. And Double A, yes. How are you doing? How are you doing? Let's see here. And let me check the Rumble side. The Rumble side. Now, I wonder, if we were to say between Rumble and YouTube, would you say that Rumble is the Sith side and YouTube the Jedi side? Rumble the dark side and YouTube the light side? I don't know. I'm just playing around here, just thinking up things, playing around, just having some fun. And Willow, yeah, sorry about that. And Willow. Didn't mean, hey, Mr. Dystopian, how are you doing? I didn't mean to forget that, Willow. And Willow from under the current handlers of Lucasfilm totally bombed, right? Totally fucking bombed. That's sad. That's sad because that was fun. And funny thing, interesting fact here, and I know you guys know, I think, was it at now the new studio I teach at? But anyways, someone recognized my name and the character in Willow. So just a little fun fact there. If you know your lore, you'll know what I'm talking about. OG always brings the receipts. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. They deleted it from existence. So let's see. And considering how YouTube screwed me, probably the dark side. And that's the thing. What would it be? I don't know. Now, I didn't have a chance to make... I did not have a chance to make the book of the week, but I do have the candidate for the book of the week. So I'll have that all ready for you guys here pretty soon, and we'll just talk about it. Let me go ahead and pull the sucker up. Let's see here. And got so many messages today. Let me see here. Let me scroll on up, moving on up to the top. Let me see. Okay. God, I'm just musical today, ain't I? I'm very entertaining. Okay, image file. Okay, share screen. Okay, here we go. All right. So we do have Infinities here, A New Hope. So continuity facts, all of that will be presented to you guys here soon. But I just thought that it'd be fun. Recommended. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Recommended because I asked him to, because I was so busy getting ready to sub the class today, among other things that was going on in the home. And then I'm also preparing a course that I'll be teaching for yoga. And you guys know me. Maybe not. Maybe this is what you guys first finding out. I think a playlist holds a lot of energy for whatever you're using it for. And we also remember events by certain songs. Like we can remember back in our high school days if we hear a song, we're like, oh, I remember that was at this place and damn, kind of deal. And so the energy of a playlist creates memory. In a way, I guess you could say, I don't like using this word, but nostalgia maybe, but also your body responds to what songs you're playing for the atmosphere you're creating. So I put together a course for teachers, particularly yoga teachers, to craft a meaningful playlist. And that doesn't have to be these lull songs. You could be someone who loves metal and get instrumentals, or your people that come to your class knows that you do add that in your playlist and stuff. You can have all that in there, but you craft the playlist to create the class experience basically. So I did put together a course, and I'm just getting everything finalized, and I'll be teaching it here pretty soon. So with that being said, I've been in the backgrounds working on that and trying to prep for Cantina Nights as well. And so here we are. And I see I have a super chat here. So just a little interesting facts about me and what's going on from our behind the scenes. And then, of course, the baby, she's doing good and teething. So we have that going on. So Star Wars Forge 2010. So New Zealand, $5. What's up? Thank you so much. Hi, my fellow brain lollipops. I will be manipulating this guy's midichlorians, Cucky, and because he's a creep and has no place here. He has no place whatsoever. And like I said, just not give him attention, because that's what he wants. That's what he's trying. I'm here, going nowhere, and no matter what, it brings attention my way. It brings subs, all of that, So, and through this all, I've gone up 100 subs already. So thank you so much. Cheers to that. And Rumble is beginning to thrive more. Let me see who is in Rumble, by the way. Anybody else move on over there? Helium is over there. I didn't realize you were reporting from there, from the Rumble side. And let me see. Before we move on, I'll make this announcement. And we got one more announcement to make as well, because I am just lagging on that. And where the hell is it? What was I going to pull at? Oh, yeah. March 5th, Chat is going to only be on Rumble. So if you have not followed and subscribed there, get your butt over there, take care of it, so we can all hang out for Cat Chat. Okay. Let's see here. I'm back on the Sith side. Let's see here. Every court needs a jester. Yes, they do. All right. So, Infinities, I will have the book of the week prepped, and I will share it with you guys. How many of you guys read Infinities before, and what is your favorite Infinities? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. So, let me see here. Let's see here. I'm working on my own original Star Wars character. They are a prequel era clan of younglings who are very close. Got some cool species in the group. Nice. Well, I hope you're having fun developing that and all that. It's always interesting to, in our minds imagine like these unknown, Jedi or people or species and stuff like that, and how they interact with each other and stuff like that. It just broadens. And I think reading and even reading comics and stuff, but diving into the written form of the franchise where you read, that expands your critical thinking more, your capability of imagining places and species and events and stuff. And that comes into creativity, it comes into the brain function, all of that. So I think that is pretty cool that, you can even sit down and have ideas or imagine or sit down and there could be a character you love and they're already been drawn out. You know what they look like. You already seen them on paper in a comic or whatever. And you can go ahead and say, okay, so I want this character doing X, Y, Z in the painting I'm going to do. And so that's where you imagine, you have the structure of the being, you know how they're supposed to look, but then it also takes your creativity more because you're learning how to manipulate the anatomy to do what they need to do inside the photo, or not the photo, but the painting or drawing that you're working on. So have fun with that. So let me see here where I think I just left. Damn it. Wolfscar says, though the Return of the Jedi was also nice, was interesting to see a white-suited redeemed Vader. Oh yeah, that's right. That's and then wasn't like, yeah, and then there is a story of Leia going dark as well. So very interesting. They stole George Lucas' idea. They either steal something, bastardize it, or they don't take anything at all. I remember checking out Star Wars comics at the school library, but didn't know they were Infinities till recently when I saw certain stories from them recently and remembered that memory. That's, yeah. I remember going into the libraries at school and checking out, I checked out Star Wars, of course, but I also loved checking out stuff pertaining to the world, like National Geographic stuff, nerding out on different type of animals and stuff. And one thing I always wanted to be when I was growing up is from 5th grade almost all the way into high school, I wanted to be an oceanographer. And during that time, I remember learning like the water level tables there, the little ecosystems from the beach all the way down into the depths and stuff. Now I can't even recite that shit. I remember some species, like in the tide pools, I can name species in there, creatures in there, but that's it. Splinter of the Mind's Eye is actually considered canonical. Canonical. Maybe canon, but still. So, and let's see here. It's great turnout, guys. Yes, thank you so much for handling the biz, not your biz, but the biz over on Rumble. You guys are freaking amazing. All right, let's see here. Yeah, and that's the thing. I didn't ever. I never know. Wrong one. Sorry. I didn't see Splinter of the Mind's Eye as ever being canon. It was made specifically for as an alternative sequel to New Hope. Yeah, and that was interesting to see, and even to read after like Empire Strikes came out, and you're like, whoa, like they came out of two different ball fields on this, right? But it was very interesting. It was very fascinating to see one idea versus the other. And then looking back at like the scripts, not the scripts, but the development, the drafts of the treatments that were going on for Empire Strikes Back. I mean, you guys get into the like making of and all that and just dive into how the story evolved and why. So interesting to read, you guys. Get into Lucas history. I never noticed this. I just discovered that copy of Wedge's Gamble I got for $5 and a half price book of Stackpole's has Stackpole's autograph. Ooh, nice. That is friggin' that's a steal. Holy crap, that is a effing steal. Discover a new fish so we can name it after Scran. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Holy crap. A Monscramin. A Monscranamari. There you go. Monscram. And what's up? We got a channel member here on the YouTube side. And you know what, you guys? I fucking dropped the ball on doing our channel member listen parties of the Young Jedi Knights. I know I did. I take responsibility for that. It's like, feels like my Sundays just have been crazy fucking busy. And yeah, so I apologize for that. I do want to pick it up again, not them up. I do want to pick it up again and continue on. But yeah, I unintentionally did not want to drop the ball on this, and in fact dropping the ball, we are going to I didn't get it fucking ready because I've been so busy, but I planned on doing the drawing for a free copy of any painting of choosing. I don't have all my paintings up in my gallery just yet though. I thought I'd have it up by now, so I do need to do that. Damn. But anyways, yeah. Holy shit. It's been a crazy, guys, my life has been so crazy lately. Crazy busy in a good way, but still, I just don't want to drop the ball anymore. Empire Strikes Back is one of my top favorites of the original trilogy. Fuck the Disney crapples, and timeline. Speaking of alternate, the Star Wars comic series was an interesting read based on older drafts of Star Wars. Yeah, it's interesting to read. Interesting. All right, I still need to upload more stuff from YouTube over to Rumble. Yeah, I need to get my shit together with Rumble and get the emojis over there and create the experience for you guys, right? Create the experience. I need to get a Rumble raid video. And for all my new or my Old Republic lovers, I am thinking of using one of the videos from the Old Republic, and I want to find a cool song for it as well. And so all of you guys, all my Old Republic fans, like, you guys recommend what video, which one should I use? I know there's like 3 or something. I'm not sure. I don't keep track. But if you have one that you suggest to use, let me know. Let me know. So I don't have to search. That's why. I don't have to go back and, I mean, I love to watch them, but I don't have to search, and I could just go and edit. Go and edit. It's grand. That's Soul's department. Yeah, he's like the super fan of the old Republic era. But I know Purist is very versed in it too, I believe. Let me see. I remember watching an animation in 2D Clone Wars or something of the Star Wars Infinity Maul versus Ben Kenobi. Let's see here. And we have Leia as Blader's apprentice. Yes, I remember that. That right there. I need to pull up that picture. I need that picture of her dark side image. That's badass. That is badass. Hey, kitty, go. Get out of here. All right. The cat wants to rub up on the computer and then disconnect me. Dark Obi-Wan sounds wrong for some reason. Dark Obi-Wan Kenobi used the deceived trailer. The part with the shuttle crash into the Jedi Temple with the... Oh, I was thinking about that too, but I wasn't sure because there's so many good, amazing, fantastic, images or sequences or time frames within all of them that could be used. Okay. I do, because I need to have a Rumble Raid video to celebrate everybody coming in to support and joining us, welcoming us, or them, not us, them. Would love to do some watch parties on Rumble. Yes, that right there, because they are more open to that sort of stuff. So with that being said, should we go through the 6 movies? Should we go through the 6 movies? And then how should we go? Should we go as the order as they came out? That is the question. We're planning on future streams, and I do need, I still didn't get my confirmation about being a part of the Rumble program, creators program, or whatever it's called. And I think because I put in for it at an odd time, so I should be getting that notification here soon. But I still need to establish myself in so many hours and get it really moving over on that end. So that would be great. But should it be how it was released? That's the thing. The OT, the PT, right? Should we include Tartakovsky's Clone Wars? Now, I did do a watch party on Volume 1. Volume 2 is no longer on YouTube for whatever reason. I don't know, unless it's back on there. But from the time when we were doing Part 2, it just wasn't working. It was nothing there. It was taken down. I do have the discs, but I don't have the proper disc device to play it in. So that kind of hurts that. So let's see here. See, I knew you guys would come through. Woo-wee. Okay. And it's all about the Sith part too. I love it. It's all about the Sith ones, right? They are numbered 1 through 6. So you smart ass, dude. Let me see here. I hardly play my clips. So let me see here. What do I have? Where's my Rebel Scum one? Here. I swear to God. When I get these all organized, then I lose them again. That's funny. That's crazy. I don't know where it's at. Never mind. That moment passed. I ain't gonna worry. That moment has passed. Let's see here. I have been both a digital and a physical copy of Tartakovsky Clone Wars, even though I prefer physical media. I need the digital copy so that it's easier to play. And YouTube used to have volume 1 and 2. I need to go check up now. But back at the time, 2 was taken down, 1 was still available. So that's weird. It could be for the fact that TCW, for their season 7, for whatever reason, they took it down because of that. I don't know. You should add the Ewok song to your stuff. Oh, crap. Oh, man. There's a lot of things that we forget about, right? Or we don't just think about right away. There's so much good stuff. Let's see here. And Melissa says, I have digital copies of all that. Girl, okay, you guys, we need to talk. We need to talk so that we can have some watch parties. All right. We can hang out. We can have popcorn. We can chat in the chat while we're watching and all of that. There we go. That builds community right there. That builds the greater George Lucas era Star Wars community, is sharing the experience with each other. And then we can even talk about, I remember when talking about, like when we first watched these movies and stuff, and what was our first opinions about it versus now. I mean, there's so much conversation to have behind that, right? If you need it, I can send you a copy. Thank you so much. I will reach out to you guys. In fact, both of you guys can send me, let me see, OG Star War 77 at yahoo.com. If that's a way, if you can, probably need to zip it up, zip drive. There's only one OG Clone Wars, the Gendy Clone Wars, never the Fraudloni Clone Wars. There you go. There you go. Sent you a playlist of all the Tartakovsky episodes. Oh shit, you guys, you have it fucking going on. Damn. Ask and it will be provided, right? Oh my goodness. Let me see here. This is how I'm feeling. All right, you guys, I still have infinities, Star Wars infinities up here. It's funny. And you know what's funny? Are very, very I'm not saying what the word. Okay, we'll just say funny. But the anti-EU people, regarding the EU was never canon. Do you notice that what is not canon to the George Lucas era Star Wars basically has infinities on it? Something to think about. And we have Conrado, all the way from the Philippines. What you doing? What's up? Let's see here. There you go. Thank you guys. I'm gonna have all these emails in there, and that's okay. That's all good. There, you guys want to do this. You want to do this. That's why. So we'll have to I'll get all that in. We'll have to schedule. I'll look at what March looks like for me. I will be a little bit busy towards the weekends, because we're moving my daughter out of her apartment that she had when she was in college. And she had a standing lease that she had to commit to and keep. And so we'll be moving her out. So, yeah. So March, April, maybe April will begin. We'll set the dates, you guys, and we will commit to the watch parties. Okay? What say you? It is called Clone Wars, the micro series. All right. So we'll talk lore here. Like I said, I didn't prep anything for the events going on in Trader. That will be coming up next Thursday, because we're going to get more into the event of what's going on with Jason Solo in captivity and Nomenor. Yeah. Nomenor, what's going on with him and what's going on. So again, it's not a book review, but it's talking about the events in that timeline. And we'll get into more of that. I look forward to that. So let's see here. So what we're going to get into, let me go ahead and remove this. I took myself out. Damn it. All right. Let's talk in general. Question and answer, and everybody's welcome to provide their own answer as well, for OG Star Wars. I haven't really done a question Q&A type thing, whether it's for Star Wars or what have you, but not personal. There's some things I will not talk about or answer or whatever, because, I share a lot, but there's also a lot of things that are private, right? And rightfully so. So question and answer, or just discussion. Creating a discussion topic, whatever. We'll talk for a little bit, and then we'll get into cringe factor. We have a couple things to talk about. In fact, let me, well, I'm waiting for you guys. We'll talk here. I didn't even play the Book of the Week clip. Damn it. I failed on that one because I don't have nothing prepped for it, but I didn't play it. But I love that. Let's see here. You found it? The 1 and 2? On YouTube? Are you fucking kidding me? because the time when I did the watch party for volume 1, I went to go look for volume 2 and it was taken down. It was gone. It was gone. And so I was like, man, we can't follow up on the volume 2. And then my friend gave me a DVD adapter for the laptop, and it's just not reading the DVD, the volume 2 DVD and stuff. So I don't know if it's just outdated software or what have you. I don't know. Yeah. Holy shit. Okay. Wow. I can get busy when doing comic reviews. It can be, yeah, it can get busy. Yeah. Nomenor, the trickster of the bongs. Yes, exactly. Exactly. People be clever how they put them. Are you talking about like advertising or what have you or putting it up on YouTube, the Tartakovsky Clone Wars 1 and 2? Let me see here. What's the first expanded universe book or comics that you read? Oh my lord, here. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. That's a great catchphrase. If you're like going to dedicate a segment of your life or maybe a whole show about the lore. Oh my lord. Oh my god. So you heard it from me here first. Oh my lord. So if you use it, give credit where credit is due. Oh my lord. All right. Let's see. Let me see. You mean Space Loki? Let me see. So my first expanded universe book or comic. So some of you guys may know this already. So this is going to be a repeat for you. For those who don't know, my lord, on my origin story, I do all the talking lore or talking EU interviews, right? I'm the one that does the interviews, but I have never had an interview myself. I haven't never been interviewed, right? So in a way, this is it, right? My first book, my origin story for the expanded universe. Truce at Baskara. What the fuck? Truce at Bakura. Yeah. I went total like I need to read everything in order from Return of the Jedi. And yeah. So during that time when I was in, I think it was junior high, maybe, I was like one of their main artists that did a lot of stuff for the campus. I even got, like in junior high, I even got the Memorial Award for Most Creative. I was in the band at times. I won for 1 year, and then I went to I auditioned and made it on the dance team. So I had that. And then when I realized that like Heir to the Empire came out, I was like, holy crap, I want that, but I never picked it up. And then when Truce of Bakura came out, I'm like, you know what, let's just go ahead and I just need to get into this and see what happens with Luke, Leia, and Han and what's going on with them and stuff like that. And I've already heard stories about the twins being born and stuff like that. And so from there, I picked up Truce and I read. So that's my origin story. That's what happened with me. Like I said, I'm a creative native, and I'm going to go ahead and use that title proudly. I did a lot of stuff when it comes to creativity, draw, sing, performing arts. Yeah. And had lots of fun sharing, expressing, creating, all of that. And, sitting back and reading just allowed me to get, in a way, disconnect from the world and just let my brain, I don't know if this sounds weird, slow down and go into another alternate dimension, I guess you can say. And that's what like Star Wars is about, right? Is taking you out of this world and immersing you into the universe that George Lucas and the creatives created, right? And just go from there. So that was like my downtime. And I also love playing games at the time too. By the time I got into high school, I wasn't playing too much games because a lot of crap was happening with me. Not bad. I don't say crap in a bad way. Yeah, but there's a lot of things I did in my life. And looking back now, like all the things all on my accolades and stuff like that, man, I did some crazy cool shit, and I've done some crazy shit on top of that. But who hasn't? I can't remember the novel, but I remember it was an Infinity Stories for the comics. Oh, yeah, I've heard some people started with Infinities because it was like these what if stories or whatever, and they were like entertaining. Entertaining. Let me see here. From that, I moved on to Thrawn trilogy. Let me see. Oh, I'm not getting the full story. Sorry. Mine was the original trilogy books. You know what? But now that I think about it, though, I had the Return of the Jedi novel. So maybe now that I think about it, because the books are both they fit perfectly for the movie, but in a way, in a sense, and then the EU. So would you guys consider that Return of the Jedi novel? Would you consider that EU and my starting point for reading into the EU? I would like to know, because there's a push and pull that's like, I don't know, because it's a movie novel or it is a novel. So it's basically what we call now the EU. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Oh my God, here we go. Really enjoy the Star Wars novels. Yes. Let's see here. Who's your favorite Star Wars character and what's your favorite era in Star Wars? Okay, so I think I said my era already, my favorite Star Wars character. So do you want it specifically overall, or do you want movie and EU? Dun, dun, dun. And anybody else is free to give their answer in the chat. Again, let's create a conversation. So is it just, both movie and EU? Okay. So movie, as I said before, so going back, recapping on my lore, on my origins and what got me into the EU, Luke Skywalker. What? This is like a perfect segue to go into this BS talk about these so-called women, female fans saying that Star Wars is misogynistic. But oh my God. It's like I can be open-minded and favor a male character and his experiences I can relate to, even though his skin color is not like mine, his hair color, he's the opposite gender, all of that. Wow. That's amazing. Now, for the EU, holy crap. Now, that one is a loaded question because that also could be based upon where I'm reading at in the timeline. But you guys see my avatar here, and I wish there was more stories about her. Merrick's Tarek. Not absolutely a favorite, but one of the favoring ones I love. That is so fucking hard. It is so hard. That's what she said. Oh my God. Okay. I keep thinking about Jaina Solo for whatever reason. Jaina Solo. That's what my mind goes to right now. Jaina Solo. Okay. And really enjoy the Star Wars novels. Yeah. Let's see here. I count movie novelization as part of the EU. And I have done that. And I've said that a lot of times. Not done it, but said it a lot of times. Both. Let me see here. Let me see here. I would get the Star Wars manga in English, the OG Star Wars manga, not the new crap Disney spits out. Ooh, there we go. Never thought about collecting the OG Star Wars manga from the past. Never. There's also honestly too many characters for me to pick, always fluctuating, correct. And Pelion is another one that comes to mind. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. To quote Lucas, quote unquote, there are over 5,000 characters to choose from. I know. That's why it makes it so fucking difficult. Makes it so difficult. Holy crap. The Dark Lord trilogy is the greatest novel trilogy in Star Wars. There you go. There you go. Worst droid in Star Wars versus best droid. Oh, man. That's... I don't know. Can we say C3PO the worst droid? You guys go ahead and answer that. I'm gonna sit and marinate on this one because there's like even I don't know droids. They just annoy me like no matter what. Even the fun sassy assassin droids and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a. They have species, so droidist. I don't know. All right, I'll say Jackson. Lippy Smuggler, Star Hoppers, at least as being one of my favorite. But again, there's too many. I know. Talking to you and interview with yourself. Oh, that'd be weird. That'd be so friggin' weird. R2 is always the best. Yeah. He is. He is. I was thinking about HK-47 too. I was trying to say, is there anyone other than HK-47? No, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was like, I might have to come back to that. Oh, goodness. HK is one of the best, plus he's a translator droid. Yeah, he has some good characteristics. Well, I won't say characteristics, but programming as multi-use, I guess. Assassin... interpreter or translator. I don't know. IG-88. Okay. Let's see here. What's your meatbag status? Oh my god. Oh, this is fun. Let's see here. I love the designs of all the different astromechs. Yes. But what do you think about the design from Disney Star Wars? What do you think about that one? Let me see what time it is. Oh, shit. We got to get into cringe factor. So any other questions here? So Star Wars. Star Wars. Man, how the mighty franchise has fallen. Looking at what is going on now and recalling what was developed, what we've seen come out, what we anxiously waited for, what characters fascinate us, what characters annoyed us, the synergy between George and all creatives, searching, researching, and expanding on the creation, the timeline, what authors did to make sure they stayed in continuity. There was so much brilliance going on that myself and maybe many of you guys have witnessed. You know, and you had authors that were particularly favoring their characters that they brought in versus anybody else's. And we've seen that. And how some stories moved or flowed perfectly through the timeline. And then some stories had a little hiccup. And the differences between the eras and who came in to write. And we all have our favorite authors, least favorite authors. But when we first watched whatever trilogy we started with, or the movie within the trilogy, what we can recall as a young child, how we felt with it and stuff, that was the door. That was the door that we stepped through. Mostly, maybe for most of us, right? Maybe it was a game, but usually a lot of people come in through the movies. But did anybody ever think that this universe that happened in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago was specifically hurting certain people? I'm gonna go genders now. We're making that segue. We're transitioning transitioning to cringe factor here. But do you ever think, oh damn, looking at the movies, whether you came in through PT or OT, George Lucas is an asshole because he doesn't know how to depict female characters. Especially when Leia was taking command, being the tough leader she is, standing up to Han, or Padme, coming in as a leader, the queen, and able to stand her ground. How could this be misogynistic? That these two women, who are basically mother and daughter, right, faced war as leaders, stood their ground, stood command, had the galaxy in mind. How is that misogynistic? Now, I know there's a quote, and Tim shared this before, how George, why he didn't put a lot of women in the roles of the war, because women, his view, and I'm paraphrasing, really don't fight in wars. But then again, his two leading protagonists from each trilogy, because there's 3 in each, were females, were women who stood up, took command, were great leaders, even commanded the war, the fight, not the war, the fight. How is that misogynistic? You hear those dogs? My front door, screen door is open, and they're in my yard. But yeah, how did that become misogynistic? Now, with that being said, let me go ahead and look. Whoops. Let me take that out of here. Maybe go pull up that thread that I was talking about, because I got into this little talk and I forgot to search for what I'm searching for. But tell me in the comments, now that we're discussing favorites or Star Wars lore and stuff like that, who is your favorite female character within the greater Star Wars galaxy universe? Share in the comments here. I already said something. I already said Jaina like that because she keeps coming to mind. The Sword of the Jedi. I think that she is very pivotal to the story going forward. Even though we didn't get the story because of the bio. But when you see the pattern that was being created about like the top 3 protagonists in the OT, the PT, then there was an apparent top 3 for a continuation story. And I forgot who asked this, but someone, I forgot. But anyways, about what part of the post Return of the Jedi, or what novels or series or what have you, would you consider the sequel trilogy? And my answer was, what I'm presenting to you is that it would be post Crucible, when we see the baton basically handed on to Jaina, Jag, and Ben Skywalker. And why I say that is because there's that pattern. The OT, once a story kicks off, you have Obi-Wan, Anakin, Padme, right? And then when the OT, we have Han, Luke, and Leia. It only makes sense from the story standpoint, and I can't find that damn post I'm looking for, from the story standpoint of Jaina, Jag, and Ben. Because when you look forward into the story, when you get to Legacy Comics with Cade and all them, 2 or 3 generations after, I think it's 2, maybe 3, you see that, you know, they're Ben's descendants, and then you see Jaina's, and Jaina and Jags, and then we have this untold story of how Alina or whatever Anya came about. We don't know how she came about. That story will never be told. That story will never be told, and sad to say, it will never be told, right? Damn, I scrolled all the way back to February 19th. Let's see here. Well, that's not that far back. Let's see here. So that's how I see that, with what would be the perspective, like where would it land if you were going to go ahead and go with that. Okay, I think I found one. And that's, let me see here. This is the beginning of it. I'm going to go look at the chat right now. Let me see what's going on in here. Let's see here. Tehillium says, the Millennium Falcon was pretty good novel too. It takes place after Jason Solo's death and his daughter with Han and Leia. Yeah, that was a fun off adventure. Tim is in the house. If I didn't see you come in earlier, I apologize. How are you doing? Let's see here. What time is it? Okay. Let's see here. I think I found it now. As I rumble to you. Let's see here. I am looking for that one. I'm just gonna probably have to use the original one that I shared with some others. Let me see here. All right. And the person I'm sharing, what happened was that she protected her Twitter account. So she put her Twitter account on protection, or whatever it's called. Protection. All right, let me see here. Let's see here. She protected. Let's see here. Okay. But I did get a screenshot, because there's a way I've learned how to retweet, and sometimes the tweet of theirs shows up clearly. Sometimes it's just the link. But there's a way that I get past the block. And so that's what I did. And then they put their, I think this is the right one. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So you guys see it. There we go. Let me go ahead and make the image bigger. All right. So with this. So Star Wars Legends, it's seeped with misogyny that goes largely ignored by its fans. So I guess I can't be surprised when those same fans seem to always hate the predominantly female fan base. And like I said, and I've shared before here, I believe on Pierce's channel, like in small discussions maybe, and I know for a fact the spacing, I shared my experience as a female fan. And I shared it with you here that my experience and how I'd seen how Star Wars was to me, my experience with Star Wars. But misogyny that goes largely ignored. So is there really a misogynistic theme being ignored by fans? And why? Hey Batu, how you doing? I see you. Excuse me. And why? Largely ignored by its fans. I'll take shit that don't happen for 500 Alex. Correct. Now I didn't do the cringe factor segue. You know, I'm not in my element of cat chat, and usually with Cantina Nights, we're talking about some bullshit news or whatever and just yapping it up. But I think that this is appropriate for what we are presenting here and now.
So uncivilized.
So, and there was another one, and a lot of these people are associated with each other through the Green Dolt Society, cults, or whatever you want to call them. And I wish I would have got screenshots from her chat or its chats. I'm guessing it's a she, CT Girly. But again, with these kind of people, I don't want to assume gender. That would be totally rude. How rude. How rude. Let me see here. All right. So this is my thing here. Star Wars pre-Disney has a huge diversity of characters and gender pre-species, per species, sorry, not pre, per species, including female characters. It also has many female characters that stood equal or even stood out from the male characters. You know, and we could see that with Leia in Star Wars, what we know now is A New Hope, right? She stood out, especially when she was like basically popping off at Han, basically, and Chewie, the walking carpet, you know, and stuff like that. She stood out with that. This begins with its foundation, the movies with Leia and Padme. There were even female Grand Masters, and I'm pretty sure you guys of the Old Republic know who I'm talking about, leaders to even antagonists, Darth Talon. Even a planet of women, or planets of women who seen themselves more superior over men. Holy crap, how is that fucking misogynistic? The genre, of course, was more favorable by boys, men's, due to its science fiction nature. It's just basically like, I wouldn't say it's stereotypical nature of boys to like sci-fi, you know, spaceships, cars, all of that. I mean, it's cars, it's not sci-fi, but you know what I mean. But that type of thing, then girls, right? Just by nature, just like, and I'm going to say it right here. However, female fans made up of 1/3 of the fandom, Star Wars fandom, especially as time gone along with the developing lore and developing franchise. But it still was small. It was still male fans, men made up the predominant side of it. But I always say it's 1/3 or a female versus 2/3 of men, right? This isn't a fairy tale, which is favored by more girls or women. So fairy tales are favored by more girls or women versus, you know, science fiction and stories like that are favored by more boys or men. Knowing the lore, fandom, and genre of the franchise, you are bitching about saves. I love when I find I don't realize I don't catch a misspell or whatever. But anyway, she's bitching about things, stuff she's bitching about nothing basically and looking like an idiot. And I just look like one too by reading my own BS, whatever that happened there. Yes, I'm blocked, and she limited who can respond. So here we go. This page doesn't exist. Try searching or something else. So what she did is she put her Twitter page on, you know, protect. So you cannot see it. Let me see here. Simple Jack moments. Let's see here. Mike says, it's on the our side, the intimidating director of Imperial Intelligence. What about Natasi Dalla when she basically killed all the moths? That she gassed them, and Pelling was in there, but basically she gave him grace enough to give him a mask and stuff. So yeah, and I'm not getting into details of the story. If you know the story, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Who is this you're talking about, Alora? This is a shill that I'm talking about. Let's see here. They'll say the EU is bad and shit, and then clamor for all those cool female characters to get canonized into Disney's horse shit. Yes. Fuck yeah, Grizz Raid. Woo, thank you so much. I'm just barely seeing that, but let's go ahead. I forget that he was live too. That's right. I'm usually listening to. But let's go ahead, and this right here will just be in a thank you to, where is he at? Here we go. Woohoo! And thank you so much, Grizzy, for the raid. All right. And of course, to our gatekeeper.
Because there's a fucking gatekeeper. There's a fucking gatekeeper.
And thank you for Pierce for holding it down on the Rumble side. Woo! Yeah, thank you so much. Let's see here. But going back to this now. Going back to this. There's another one I wanted to pull up. And I shared it with Tim. He might be addressing that one tonight. I don't know. But I find it peculiar, funny, that these people come out with this because it seems like they have some kind of agenda. And what could that agenda be? Because they're saying all Star Wars, like between this and the other person, they're saying all Star Wars. I'm only addressing pre-Disney because that's Star Wars. Yeah. But they're saying both Disney and George Lucas era is misogynistic. And that men hate it because now Disney has made it a female fan, huge female, like a female franchise. But then it goes against their narrative because they said all Star Wars are even including Disney. See the confliction there, I guess you can say. And then she goes on to say, and this is like condescending, quote unquote, not all Legends fans, no shit, absolutes don't exist for any fandom, but there is very much a correlation that frequently occurs here. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? And the female fans that are probably in the chat, what do you think about that? And of course, the male fans, what do you think about this? What do you think? It's like a wash, rinse, repeat. Whenever something's slow, we always see something like this. But what is the fucking purpose? You know, are they now upset because Kennedy's not going to be the president anymore? And Filoni is the president, and that Linwin, or whatever her name is, the co-president. But then again, didn't he have that big, huge interview, like our keynote speaker at the women's conference there? And he is so pro the feminine arc that are now being presented in franchises. You know, the strong female lead kind of deal, right? So how is this now? Why are they now going back, resorting back to this? Is it just to get attention? Yeah, Mike, it's fake fans looking for clout. F the Disney timeline started with everything Dave Filoni. Starting with everything Dave Filoni touched. Yeah. Darth Angel, no shit is fucking retarded, bro. I'm slowly losing brain cells. There you go. So with that, so I'm just addressing this because I think it's absurd. This is a huge nothing burger that's only here to stir up controversy, get eyes on them, get them to talk shit about the franchise. But then again, They like the franchise, the lore, all of that. That fucking doesn't make sense. If you think it's misogynistic and it doesn't, and it's misogynistic to you, leave. Get the fuck out of here. Right? And so, you know, of course, we have comments here, and I just love this right here. We have these female characters here, very strong characters here. And yeah, let me go ahead and take the screen off here. But I just wanted to, like, it's like I need to sit down and see these patterns that are happening every single year. And then you can almost predict when the misogynistic yap is going to happen, when certain yaps are going to happen when it comes to like, you know, George Lucas, this or whatever, you know. I mean, we've been predicting this for a while now with the space scene and all of that. But speaking of, you know, strong female, no, she's not fucking strong. But thinking of condescending bitches, yes, I said it, bitches, we are going to get into this next cringe factor. So you have time. I'm going to play a video. I need to fill up my cup here, but I'm going to play a small video here, and we're going to get into cover what Marsha has to say, what Bleeding Fool or whatever they are has to say about Marsha, basically. But let me see here. Let's play this because no, let's not play that. Let's do this one.
The fate of the galaxy is now in your hands. With the new LEGO Star Wars Slave 1, you can load Captain Solo, arm your weapon systems, man the cockpit, and take off with the most feared ship in the galaxy. But watch out for rebel ships. No matter the enemy, no matter the firepower, you control the action. With the new LEGO Star Wars collection.
Lego Star Wars collection. There you go. And of course, Slave One. Slave One. And speaking of Slave One and the Fets, you had a race. Well, Mandalorian's not a race. You had a culture of many different species coming together to experience, live that culture, and teach their kids to live by it. That has no gender, right? That everybody, like men and women, were basically equal. But what I mean by equal is that whatever the men did, the women had to do too, right? And I'm just talking in short on the culture, the Mandalorian culture. So that's very interesting in itself. So again, how is Star Wars, like George Lucas era, oh fuck, I hate when this shit comes up, misogynistic? How is that? How is that? I mean, we can point out so many things, but damn, this is like pure ignorance. Like this is disingenuous bullshit. The Mariluka, let me see. The Mariluka was such an interesting character. Let's see here. And oh shit, this is the same guy who voices the Lego Bionicle trailer. Awesome. Yeah. It is odd that a lot of IPs aside from Star Wars is pushing a pro-feminist narrative. Yeah. It's crazy. It's all fucking crazy. I got into a brief discussion with a friend about Mandalorians on Twitter. He didn't understand or believe they would take toddlers on missions. I just told him to look at the history pre-Disney. Oh my God. It's like, yeah, go on, girl. I don't want you to mess with my computer. These cats like the keyboard and the screen because it's warm. And that can provide a problem for us. So this is the first time I believe the Bleeding Fool has contributed to a cringe factor. So thank you very much, Bleeding Fool. And this is by Mike Murphy. So that might sound familiar to you, maybe not. Marsha Lucas versus Disney Fandom's Galaxy of Denial. All right. So I'm going to play this clip here before we read on. And I shared this clip only to a few people. And so now the masses are going to see it.
But every time Marsha turns around, they hand her a blue ribbon or something. Oh, now, Jan, you know that isn't so. Marcia's worked very hard for those things.
Well, all I hear all day long at school is how great Marcia is at this or how wonderful Marcia did that. Marcia, Marcia, Marcia.
Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. There you go. So we're going to get into what this fool, Mike or whatever his name is, has to say. Hey, what's up? How are you doing? Hello, OG Star Wars and everyone in live chat. Long time no see. Hopefully things are going well. Yes, they are. Thank you so much for tuning in. And let me see what's going on the Rumble side here. And thank you again for the raid, Grizz. I know it's by scroll. Basically, was still at the raid. And we have Dark Goldface with $1. Congratulations on reaching 100 followers on Rumble, Alora. Thank you so much. Thank you. When I put in for partner or whatever it's called, creative, whatever, I was already past that because it counts like your studio versus your profile or whatever. I'm still getting used to this, the differences between this and being accustomed to YouTube. I will get the lingo, all that down. It's crazy how there's lingos and how it's distinctive from one from the other. So thank you again for the $1. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Okay. When someone says Star Wars, almost everyone thinks George Lucas. He's the face of the franchise, the guy credited with creating the galaxy far, far away. But longtime fans and film editors know another name that mattered every bit as much. Marcia. George's ex-wife helped shape the saga that became a global phenomenon. Okay, because she is his wife and an editor doesn't mean she gets the credit as such. And when the OT was being edited, the first edit that basically everybody thought, oh, well, it's going to be trash, you know, all that. If you know the history about the editing process, what was going on, she edited that really. But towards the end, or towards the middle, towards the end, before the show premiered and came out to the masses, she left to go edit for Scorsese. So she wasn't responsible for the final product. She was only responsible for the trench run. And then she wanted scenes of Luke running around Tashi Station, which basically him running around has nothing to add to. Now the scene with him talking with Biggs, that would have been great, but that also too, like, the story, the time run, it just wasn't going to be possible. But the end product was not because of her. She did recommend some things to George, whether he did them or not. I mean, he has everybody, his people he brought in to create the film, all of that. So you can give credit where it lies to everybody to help George out. But in the end, what we see is what George wanted. He edited it too. Oddly enough, when we reported her blunt thoughts about what Disney has done for the franchise, many of the same people who claim to love cinema came out swinging against her. Oh my goodness. And I know this guy. Libertarianism rocks. Okay. I can't believe some weirdos think she's the reason Star Wars is so good. Yep, they're defending Marcia. They are defending her. They are fucking defending her. I should ask OG Star Wars, you normally host around different hours like the afternoons. To be fair, I hardly had a chance to attend. Yeah, today would have been a regular cap chat, but I had a meeting to be in. So we're doing Cantina Nights tonight. So that's why we're here right now. Next Thursday, we'll go back to normal hours. However, I want to do some Cantina Nights on a Saturday every other weekend. I just have not been able to implement it just yet. All right, let's see here. Let me see what's going on. Rumble side, Darth Angel, $1. I recently finished the entire rewatch of the OT and the PT, so here are my updated ranks. A New Hope 9, Empire Strikes Back 9, Return of the Jedi 10, The Phantom Menace 8, Attack of the Clone 7, and Revenge of the Sith 10. Thoughts? Well, that's pretty cool. Thanks. We all will have our different ratings and order of what we like versus what is less liked, I guess you can say. So thanks for sharing that, and thank you for the $1. All right, so let's go back. The outrage should have been predictable. The usual crowd of Disney defenders couldn't stand hearing that the woman who helped edit Star Wars itself actually thinks today's Lucasfilm was wrecked or has wrecked it. No, that's not only it. She even thought George wrecked it with the PT. So what the fuck are you saying here? Get your face out of her cunt, okay? But instead of arguing her points, certain corners of social media decided to drag her personal life as if gossip about a 40-year-old divorce. She's not 40 years old. She's not as young as me. Is she? Was she that young? Was she younger? Because no, she's not. A 40-year-old divorced somehow disqualifies her from talking about are they talking about the person who's talking about her? Did I read that right? So let me go back. As if gossip about a 40-year-old divorce somehow disqualifies her from talking about storytelling or editing. She is not a storyteller. She's an editor. There is a difference. And they're talking about her. How old is Marsha? Okay, anybody in chat, look up Marsha's birth date or how old she is right now. So here's this person. I don't think I've seen them around. I could be, it's replying to OG Star Wars. I didn't read this article. I just was going to read the headline, like the tweet to this. Let me look up here. And replying to OG Star Wars. And you know what? This writer thinks that the people responding to me, like I said, I recognize this person, the other person I don't recognize, thinks that we are defending Disney Star Wars or a Disney Star Wars fan or something like that. Talk about not knowing what you're writing about and doing research. All right, so this is all off my post about her. How interesting. She's an honorable woman. It's not like she cheated on George with a stained glass painter, abandoned her kid, or crashed the premiere of episode 1 like a psycho ex. Oh, wait. But going off when she went into a fetal position and cried in her car over Phantom Menace, I'm sure she's sane. Now, what do you guys think about that? So here we go. George, and this is from, I was commenting on this. George, bitter ex gets more credit than deserve. Correct. And here I am, you guys. I was going to read the Twitter post of this, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to click on the article and open it up because so let me see. Did I write anything else here? No, these are just responses. Because an disgruntled ex-wife who did hit piece on George Lucas icons on Earth is reliable, and that's the thing. It was a hit piece. We covered this on the Space. And at one point we got disgusted with it. We're like, we're fucking done with this shit. We're fucking done with this shit. And so we stopped. But we made our points. We seen the bullshit that was happening behind it. And this is all from my tweet. How funny is this? This is fucking funny. She's an abhorrent cunt anyways, and people need to stop sucking her off. Okay. And that's how he feels about her, and he has every right so too. I mean, whatever, you know. Here's what the critics never mentioned. Marsha met George back in 1965. We don't need to know about That's irrelevant. When they met, I know when this all happened. I have the cinematography of George Lucas, and I have other source books about George Lucas and all of that. And it does mention, there's things that mention his marriage to Marcia. There are documents that I've listened to on YouTube about that, Marcia and George, when Marcia comes into the picture, and her editing skills and all this other stuff. So let me read on. When they were both apprentice editors working for Journey to the Pacific. So he's trying, this adult is trying to save grace for her by giving her background to where she started at and how she met George, which basically what was being taught about her was basically how she signed up for this hit piece, Icons on Earth, and how she acted with George during their time of marriage, which is rightfully so. You can discuss that. You can talk about that. And then they go on and say they married 2 years later, and between 1969 and 1977, she built a career editing for big names like Scorsese, just like I said. And then Taxi Driver, like there's the filmography right there. She also edited her husband's early films, THX and American Graffiti. By the time Star Wars rolled around, she already had a reputation of one of Hollywood's sharpest editing talents. And that still doesn't mean that she is the brilliance behind everything. Like I said, when it came to what made everybody cringe, well, she edited that. And when it came to the final product, she was gone for that. She didn't just tighten scenes. She understood what made them hit emotionally. He is talking as if she edited everything on her fucking own. And so far has not mentioned, and it looks like we're going to get into this, so far has not mentioned the other editors. So basically she made them hit emotionally. Want proof? George originally wanted Obi-Wan Kenobi to survive his fight with Darth Vader. It was Marcia who convinced him the character needed to die and become a spiritual mentor for Luke instead. That's a suggestion. That's the kind of story choice that gave Star Wars just its mythic weight. And George knew it was the right call. Okay, so if George didn't think it was the right call, it wouldn't have been done. And just because she had basically given that idea, which was a common sense idea, doesn't mean that she's responsible for every fucking single idea and every single scene and every single script piece that was written, right? Because she's only an editor. When British Union rules kept her off the initial production of Star Wars, George hired another editor, John Jimson. He hated the early cut and quickly fired him. Marcia came in to repair. Oh my fucking God. This idiot does not even talk about the other two editors that were brought in at the same time with Marcia. Marcia came in to repair the movie, handed the Battle of Yavin. She stitched together 40,000 feet of dialogue and special effects footage until it became one of cinema's most thrilling finales. What do you guys think? Let me see what you guys are saying on Rumble. Let me see. Revisionist history. Perpetuating the lie. I agree. This is getting out of hand. I need that clip for my channel here. This is getting out of hand. Let me see here, and let me go into the YouTube sphere where I can see, well, basically the StreamYards, but still. Damn. Well, Bleeding Fool just lost all credibility. They've lost credibility a long time ago. I'm so done with this, bro. These people have no clue what the hell they are talking about. And there is a documentary on this, basically debunking all these things about Marcia saved Star Wars. And I will share, if someone can find that, share it in the comments. But it's like when Star Wars was almost saved, or something like that, again and again, or something like that. Share the link there. And I recommend that when you have time, I think it's 2 hours. When you have time, listen to it. Very insightful, well researched. So let's get back to here. Let's get back to this. And let's see here. She's not responsible for dialogue, basically. She's not responsible for the script. But anyways, she once said, if the audience doesn't cheer when Han Solo comes in the last second of the Millennium Falcon to help Luke when he's being chased by Darth Vader, the picture doesn't work. It works. It worked then and it still does. Her comment about a scene, that's irrelevant, really. Her craft earned her the Oscar for Best Film Editing. Again, he's not sharing the other responsible editors. And he's making it sound like she's the only one. Did you get it? Mm-hmm. Okay, bring it to me. It's fine. Let's see here. Where was I at? Thank you. She took time off to focus on family life and help design the interior of Skywalker Ranch. Even then, she couldn't stop improving films. When she saw an early cut of Steven Spielberg's Raiders of the Lost Ark, she told him the movie needed Marion at the end of the emotional payoff. Spielberg shot a new ending. This result was one of the most beloved adventure films in history. For the Return of the Jedi, she came back to edit key emotional scenes George referred to as the dying and crying parts. But behind the scenes, the marriage was falling apart. And see, we were talking about that too. But we were talking more like for myself, I was sharing how she was a part of a hit piece on George Lucas. Marcia later said George's nonstop focus on work left their relationship hollow. She filed for divorce in 1982, but waited until after Jedi premiere to go public so it wouldn't hurt the film's release. That's fucking bullshit. That was her level of professionalism. She has no... Okay. Marcia soon remarried artist Tim Rodriguez, with whom she had a daughter, before divorcing again in 1993. But when fans began debating why the prequels fell flat decades later, her absence from those productions came up again. Well, what about the other editors? Again, he does not mention them in here whatsoever. So what do you guys think? Let me look in the Rumble chat. I know I could see it over there on the StreamYards, but still. Let's see here. Silly question, but I was just wanting to ask, okay, what is that? If Lady Marcia truly saved Star Wars, why didn't she take over the IP? All right. Whew. Let's see here. One SF Gate piece even called her the secret weapon of Star Wars. You fucking hear that? The secret weapon of Star Wars. Again, what about Hirsch, right? What about the editors that worked alongside her? It wasn't just her, and she was not responsible for the whole entire editing process. And in the end, George was responsible for this final piece, right? Saying, considering the reaction to the Star Wars prequels and George's distance from the franchise now, it's not a stretch to say that Marcia was actually the glue that kept the galaxy far, far away together, or at the very least helped repair it when it needed to be fixed. So she's now credited for keeping the franchise fucking alive. Do you fucking believe that? So when Marcia Lucas recently told the truth about how Disney turned the saga she helped build into a marketing machine missing heart, what the fuck? George began doing merch to help fund the films. Like, was it after? I don't know the specific dates, but it was during the OT, not the PT, not later, like how this is being suggested. And the online outrage machine went into overdrive. Some dismissed the criticism because she quote unquote just an editor. She is fucking just an editor. While others dragged her over the Marshall gossip some 40 years ago, it was the usual case of modern fandom defending corporate product and creativity. No, we are showing that she's not responsible for a lot of the creativity. She is a fucking editor, and there was other people responsible for that as well. The irony is that Marcia Lucas' version of Star Wars is the one people still love. She shaped moments that made audience cheer, cry, and believe. Disney's version has the budget but not the heart. When a woman who literally won an Oscar for making Star Wars, who else fucking won the Oscar with her, right? For making Star Wars, says the new stuff was lost the magic. So you see, they're trashing the PT. They are putting her up on a pedestal, saying George doesn't know how to make his own franchise. Like all of this, everything we see from the OT, the PT into the EU is all because of George. All because of George. No, this is telling us different, right? It's telling us it's Marcia. Next time someone thanks George for the galaxy far, far away, they should save a little gratitude for Marcia, the woman who made the Star Wars soar and isn't shy about sharing her thoughts on Disney failures. Oh my goodness. Now, what do you guys think about that? What do you think about that? Holy hell. Holy shit. And I find it funny that I was the one, my thread about this was the one that to be premiere on this, and I'm the one who is now, going over this article for cringe factor. Now, we are going to get ready to close here the show. We do have Tim that's supposed to be going live here pretty soon. Is he going live at 8:05? Any of the gatekeepers that are in the chat want to let me know, because I would love to extend the raid over to him. Let me see here. But I find it amazing how ignorant and the honesty or the lack thereof of this article. Let me see here. And we've covered this on the spacing, the icons on Earth. And you also have Star Wars Normie, who is also praising her as well. And acting like the icons on Earth was something that came out just recently, how he reported it, all of that. Let me see here. I don't know. But I thought it was very interesting to talk about this. And her, as she's not a creative, she's an editor. And what she edited is not as much as people think. And you can go research that yourself. Like, there is, here we go, this right here, the person does it. He's pretty entertaining. He breaks down someone who was saying Marcia saved Star Wars, who's breaking down that video, but he was also using a lot of resources, and he showed the images, the sources up within the video. and then also shared like contradictory stuff too between some things that were made versus others. He reached out to the editors at the time as well to confirm some stuff. But the thing is, the reality here is that no, she did not save Star Wars. She is not responsible for its success. It's not solely her, but to put her on a pedestal above George and claim like everything's happened, like how this article's doing, claiming how everything has happened because of her and ignoring the other editors is very dishonest and disingenuous. And you could say revisionist history. Because if you search up editors of Star Wars, you're only going to get Marcia. I'm doing it right now. You're only going to get Marcia. Which I find, we all know in this day and age that everything, what we know, when you search them up, and that's including in like Star Wars, if you're going to go look up the new Jedi Order, you're going to get Rey stuff. Like everything's being changed to fit this narrative that they want us to think. They want these future generations to think, right? Not being honest, and that's revisionist history. Let's see here. And it's funny how I go from someone claiming that Star Wars is misogynistic to me being like, you know, she did help edit it, but she also is not like the savior of Star Wars. Are we fully responsible for the success just because she may have offered something to George and he said, okay. He could have simply said no too. Right? And I'm pretty sure there's other people that he worked with, like the director per se, that things were done and changed because it seemed better. It streamlined the story a little bit more. But then you don't hear people talking about that. But my thing with her and with this thing is seeing her be a part of this hit piece over George, which was uncalled for. And that was my first thought and what I shared on my Twitter that was shared here. So I don't know if Tim is going live tonight. I didn't see his link up yet. Did he say he was going live tonight? Because I would love to extend any Rumble raids to him. If not, then we are going to start closing out so I can go and take a nice, yummy, hot bath and start settling in for the night. And I would encourage you to go watch that documentary, I guess you can say, or whatever you want to call it, and take notes on it. You know, I'm like being the teacher here, giving you guys assignment. Take notes on it, learn a little bit more, look at the books that he used, and put those books on your shelves, right? That's something that you can do to broaden your library and broaden your knowledge surrounding Star Wars and what's really going on today. If all else fails OG Star Wars, we could rate someone I have in mind. Is Pierre still in the chat? Is he in the chat? Doesn't look like that. Yeah, I would love to extend a raid out just to be the good Samaritan, I guess you can say. But we are going to start closing down here now. We're going to start winding down. Tim might not stream, but go check out the Jack Show. There we go. So go ahead and raid, like whoever wants to. I don't think I have any. Oh, you're here. Here, Purist. Is he going to stream tonight? I don't see a link or anything, but last time he was live, I didn't see it. And it showed up after he's gone live. So I don't know. I don't know. But we're getting ready to close here. So my mod, feel free, our mods, if you know how to do the raids, feel free to do so. Wherever you want to choose for it to go, Purist. And I'm going to go ahead and start closing down the show here. Now, next week, there'll be Calf Chat. 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And again, Rumble on Thursday, the 5th of March will be, not Rumble, but Calf Chat will be on Rumble the 5th of March, not on YouTube. So if you haven't had a chance, get over there, follow, subscribe, become a member. And those who are catching the replay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you got this far, let me know. Say, hey, what's up, Laura? And then give me your opinion about Marsha. I would love to see it. I would love to see that stuff. See that. And what else am I going to say? Oh, yeah, for the lurkers and all.
Bitch, sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Bitch, sit down.
Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with them. The industry can hate me, fuck them all, ain't they mama?
All right, and we are going to listen to, as we close out, Carrie Fisher herself talking about George Lucas.
George Lucas ruined my life. 57 years ago, I did his little Star Wars film. The fact that you made me into a little doll that my first husband could stick pins into, a shampoo bottle where people could twist my head off and pour liquid out of my neck, lather up with Leia and you'll feel like a princess yourself. And yes, the little Pez dispensers. And though amongst your many possessions you have owned my likeness, lo, all these years, so that every time I look in the mirror, I have to send you a check for a couple of bucks. You had the unmitigated gall to let that chick, the new girl who plays my mother, Queen Armadillo, or whatever her name is, she wears a new hairstyle and outfit practically every time she walks through a door. I mean, I bet she even got to wear a bra. Even though you told me I couldn't because there was no underwear in space. I hope I slept with you to get the job, because if not, who the hell was that guy?
Another happy landing.